Hi, welcome to my channel, Zen and Fit. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the history when it comes to Black Americans in the United States and Native American tribes, especially for a lot of you who have heard of the movie Sinners. You may have heard or seen the film and observed that they had a Native American tribe in the film. And I'm going to give some history regarding this particular Native American tribe and just Native American tribes in general. But before I jump into the video, if you could please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button because it helps me to be able to create more content on this channel. I typically post once a week on here, even though sometimes things may change and I may go on hiatus at times. So, for some of you who have seen the film Sinners, you may have seen a particular tribe that was in the film referred to as Choctaw. Or maybe you've seen different clips, because I believe there was like a news video out talking about Sinners and how they showcased the Choctaw Nation in the film. And I just wanted to give a background history. In the United States, there are Native American tribes that are federally recognized by the U.S. government. And Choctaw Nation is one of those tribes that is federally recognized as a tribe. And basically, in the United States, these particular tribes are recognized as their own nation within a nation. So even though they're within the United States, they have their own government system within their tribe that the U.S. recognizes. And that goes back to history when the United States signed treaties with a lot of different Native American tribes back in like the 1800s. And Choctaw Nation was one of those tribes. There's a lot of other Native American tribes. Maybe you guys have heard of the Navajo or Cherokee. There's various tribes in the United States that are recognized by the U.S. government, and Choctaw is one of them. Now, when it comes to the history and the relationship dynamics between Black Americans and Native American tribes, a lot of these Native American tribes had slaves during slavery. I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware of that. It wasn't only whites in the United States that had slaves that were practicing slavery. It was also a lot of Native American tribes that were partaking in this as well. The only difference was that Black slaves during that time could gain membership into these Native American tribes, and a lot of times they were placed on the freedmen. And I'm going to give a little bit more information regarding the freedmen, but basically, Black slaves were able to become members of the tribe, and they were recognized as freedmen in these Native American tribes. So, just to give a backstory, in a lot of these Native American tribes that are federally recognized, because there are some Native American tribes even to this day that may not be recognized by the federal government, but I'm specifically referring to the Native American tribes that are recognized by the federal government. There are two sets of membership. One is the freedmen that I refer to, and that is usually referring to the Black Americans who were slaves in these Native American tribes, but they gained membership and were recognized as a freedman. That's what they were referred to as. Then you also have another form of membership, which is the DOS rolls, which is usually individuals who have some form of direct Native American ancestry. They are usually placed on the DOS rolls. So let's say, for example, you have an individual who has Native American ancestry. Maybe it's on their mother's side or their father's side, or both their parents are Native American. They would get placed on a DOS roll. Versus, let's say, a Black American who their family members were slaves in the Native American tribe, and their family members were placed on the freedmen because their family members did not have direct lineage, a direct Native American ancestry. And so as a result, they were placed on a freedman. I hope I'm clarifying that. So just to repeat, so a lot of Black Americans who were slaves, because they were not Native American by blood, were placed on freedmen. And then you also have another set of membership, which is the DOS rolls, where a lot of people who have some form of direct lineage, some some somewhere in their bloodline where they have Native American ancestry. And so they would be placed on the DOS roll. This is very important. The reason why I'm giving this backstory is because I'm going to be talking about how a lot of Black Americans have had to fight for their membership and their rights within a lot of these federally recognized Native American tribes. Because what happened was, once treaties were signed with these Native American tribes and the U.S. government, part of the agreement was that the Native American tribes would continue to recognize the freedmen as a part of their membership within that tribe. But within a lot of these tribes, that didn't actually take place. Like for some tribes, like for example, the Choctaw Nation, which was showcased in the movie Sinners, they that tribe in particular decided not to recognize or even acknowledge full membership to the freedmen. It started around, I believe, 1983. So anyone who was born, let's say around 1983 and after, and they were, let's say, their previous family members who had freedmen membership in that Native American tribe were no longer recognized. They couldn't gain membership within that tribe because Choctaw was no longer pretty much recognizing it anymore. And so the reason why I'm discussing this is that not only do you have where some of these Native American tribes said, you know what, we're no longer going to recognize the freedmen as members, and you're no longer going to have access to any of the membership resources within this tribe. There is another component of this, because just like for some of you who are listening to this video, you may hear Black Americans say, oh, so-and-so has Native American in their family. And there's some truth to that. And what I mean by that is that there were blacks in these Native American tribes who had relationships with actual Native Americans and had children with Native Americans. And so instead of their child being placed on the DOS roll, because again, going back to the DOS roll is, for people who have direct lineage, direct Native American ancestry. So if this Black American has a child with a Native American, that means that their child does have direct Native American ancestry. And so you would think that that person would be placed on the DOS roll versus freedmen. Because again, freedmen is recognizing that you're a member, but you don't actually have direct Native American blood in you. But what happened in some of these Native American tribes, instead of those children being placed on a DOS roll, they were placed on freedmen, even though they were technically mixed race. They had actual Native American blood in them. And the reason why I'm discussing this, because it's very significant, because you have individuals, even today, who are not recognized in these Native American tribes because their family members who were of mixed race, who had direct Native American ancestry, were not appropriately placed on the DOS roll and were placed on freedmen. And so as a result, that person lost membership resources, or I should say access to the resources within that Native American tribe, because they were inappropriately placed on the freedmen when they should have been placed on DOS. And unfortunately, this was a practice that did occur within Native American tribes. So you have some Black Americans even today who may have direct Native American ancestry, but they're not being recognized by that tribe because they were still placed on freedmen instead of being placed on a DOS roll. So even to present day, you have a lot of the freedmen's, the Black freedmen's, who are fighting to regain their membership and to be recognized as freedmen's within these Native American tribes. But then you also, too, have individuals who were placed on freedmen when they should have been placed on the DOS roll, and they have no access to membership, even though they do have direct Native American ancestry. So it's very unfortunate, but it just shows how Black Americans, the history that the discriminatory factors that a lot of Black Americans have had to endure. And our history does impact us today. Because if you think about it, if your relatives were a freedman and you can't even gain access and want to participate in that Native American tribe, how that impacts your life. Or if you had family members who were of mixed race, who had actual direct Native American ancestry and were placed on a freedman. So already they're at a disadvantage. And that means that their predecessors that come after them are also not going to be placed on the DOS roll because their relative was placed on freedmen. And I also just too wanted to clarify that even with freedmen's, the individuals who do have freedmen membership in Native American tribes, usually their membership may be less in comparison to people who are on the DOS roll. They may have less access to membership resources within that tribe as a freedman. So there's so many facets to this, but I just wanted to give a brief overview, especially since the movie Sinners recently came out and had Native Americans based on the trailers and some of the news articles that were out there. I just wanted to cover that and hopefully enhance awareness if some individuals weren't aware of this history, this dynamic. I hope you found value with this video, and I look forward to reading any comments or feedback you have. And this is really just more so exploring history, reviewing history, and acknowledging it. So I hope that's the takeaway from this video. So until next time, take care.